If we're paying at the bottom for hourly, then it's hard to retain excellent part-time instruction. I have been told time and time again when I'm scheduling that they have taken another job closer to home. It probably pays more and it's less travel. It's hard to retain full-time instructors because when they can drive down the street and get paid twice as much as they can here for overload, then they're not here. When I say, let's come and do work on a project on Thursday, it's easier for them to say yes if they're teaching here right after class. Sure, I'll join you. Versus, you mean I got to drive in and do that? I don't think I can. So it is affecting our students in the classroom because it's hard to maintain excellent instruction. The part-timers are gone, the full-timers are elsewhere. It's hard to work in the department because it's tough to gather people together when they're working elsewhere. These are excellent teachers. Their so-called freeway flyers are working very hard, some of them excellent work. It's time to do them a service. When we took the hit during the recession on the summer contract pay, a lot of people bailed, full-time people bailed on this place. They're not loyal anymore. And so I think, as I agree with my colleagues, that if you were to give them a raise and say, yes, this is what we can do, I think this is I think, crucial. Working in the math department, we could really use this boost to maintaining good teachers in the classroom. It's a great place to invest. And I'm not talking 2%, sorry. 2% for $60, I think, gets you a Happy Meal at the end of the week if you're dealing with a 5-unit course. Instead, we need to make this competitive. We need to bring it to 50%, I would think. That would be the number that I would be happy with. And I think that's about it. If you want to talk more, I'd be happy to talk about what it's like in the department. Thank you.
Cindy Fry.
Good evening. I just wanted to start out by congratulating President Oakley for, quote, successfully completing the priority goals and performance objectives assigned to him, end quote, which has prompted the Board of Trustees to offer him a 2% salary increase effective January 1st, 2016. How nice to be recognized by the Board of Trustees for doing a job well done by being rewarded with a raise. If approved, that will bring President Oakley's total annual salary to $326,979. And of course, already approved was to extend his contract to February 28, 2019. I also would like to congratulate the management team for receiving a 3.02% salary increase, which includes a 1.02% cost of living allowance, better known as COLA. Again, the Board of Trustees found that the team was doing, I assume, a job well done and rewarded the team members with a raise. This was approved during the summer at the Board of Trustees meeting on July 28th. You can imagine how excited I am as the lead negotiator for CHI, the part-time faculty union at the college, about the recent raises for those who are doing a job well done. CHI is going into a contract reopener with the district this semester, where more than likely we will discuss a salary increase. But then, of course, after more than a decade of stagnant wages, we did just receive a slight salary increase that put us just below the 50th percent mark on the salary scale for California community colleges. And we did just successfully negotiate for 1/2 of the COLA. But since the trustees are rewarding those who are doing a job well done, I assume that also means that the majority of instructors on this campus who work with no paid office hours, no paid prep time, no parity pay, no health benefits, no pension, or no job security might also receive a job well done raise. At least that's what I'm hoping for and will be asking for the more than 700 part-timers at LBCC. Thank you for your attention.
Our last speaker is Karen Roberts.
Good evening to President Oakley and Board of Trustees. So I'm here speaking on the same agenda item, 4.1, annual salary increase for Superintendent President Oakley. This is the time when the Board of Trustees is going to approve that 2%. I want to take a little bit different tact on this, in that what I'd like to do is to remove President Oakley from the equation for a minute. Recently, Time magazine published an article titled, "College Presidents Rake in Big Perks on Top of High Salaries." The authors used the term an academic arms race to describe this sort of self-perpetuating belief system underlying the insanity of skyrocketing college presidents' salaries. If you approve a 2% salary increase, then it's the office that is connected to the monetary value. Yes, President Oakley will benefit. But we need to rethink this, because $325,000 a year to preside over a community college, even as we serve a low socioeconomic population, even as students suffer under increasing college debt, even as the median income in Long Beach hovers somewhere around $30,000 a year, if even that. What we hear time and time again is, but that's what we need to pay to get good people. But where's the data to support that belief? Surprisingly, there are people who do go into public service jobs not motivated by money. And I'm speaking directly to the Board of Trustees because you are tasked with really wading through the ambiguities and the contradictions that lie within the system. Rewarding somebody for a job well done in a capitalist economy is normal. This is what we do. But is it always the best thing to do? When will this insanity end? You have an opportunity to provide enlightened leadership, and that's what we depend on you to do. So when we see insanity, we need to call it out. We need to say enough is enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen, and all of our speakers. We're moving on to agenda item 2.1, which is approval of the board's goals for 2015 to 2017. These are goals that were discussed at the retreat that we did on July 28th, and they were fine-tuned and modified, and they're now presented now. Is there a presentation, Oakley, or are we just going to? Good. So we'll take just a minute to let you look at the goals which are above us, and then, of course, on our screens here as well. The goals that we propose to adopt after consideration at our retreat and discussion is to continue to support the student success agenda by supporting the college leadership in developing an educational master plan that specifically identifies student success goals and metrics including reducing time to completion and closing the achievement gap. That's the equity piece. Working with college and community stakeholders to institutionalize the Promise Pathways program, supporting the implementation of the Innovation Award and Higher Education goals for the expanded Long Beach Promise partnership with Long Beach Unified School District, Cal State Long Beach, and the City of Long Beach, and supporting the legislative and political initiatives that align with the goals of the Long Beach Community College Promise partnership with the same three entities, the Unified School District, Cal State Long Beach, and the City of Long Beach. The second goal is to continue to support the career, technical education, workforce development, and economic development agendas to strengthen the regional economy by continuing to implement and expand programs for small businesses in Long Beach, continuing to sustain and expand the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program, continuing to sustain and expand the Long Beach City College Innovation Fund, Southern California, working with the community to develop a greater Long Beach innovation hub and develop a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem, and supporting the development of new or revised CTE programs that align with local industry workforce needs and increase the number of internships related to those programs. The third goal I alluded to earlier, it's to support programs to build a more collegial campus community by creating better relationships and communications among all campus stakeholders, by supporting the implementation of a leadership development program for Long Beach City College faculty and staff. That's the LEAD Academy that we've got out here in front of us, and expanding opportunities for interaction among the Board of Trustees and all campus stakeholders. And finally, and probably most importantly, to allocate our resources in a manner that's consistent with those board goals. Is there any discussion among the Board of Trustees about these goals, things you want to say? We talked it all out at the retreat. I entertain a motion.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Kellogg, seconded by Trustee Baxter. Any discussion? Probably wore ourselves out pretty close at the end. No discussion? Then will we call the roll, please?
Irma Archuleta?
Aye.
Virginia Baxter?
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg? Aye. Doug Otto?
Aye.
Sunny Zia?
Aye.
Now we are moving on to the consent agenda. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately if a member of the Board of Trustees so requests. And I understand we have 4 requests, is that right?
Well, I have one request.
I have 3.
Okay, let's see. Where's the math department? Rich, is that right, Rich? Jenny, what would you like?
I would like to remove 3.10. Commercial warrants.
Okay, and Sunny, what are yours?
3.4, 3.11, and 3.13.
Okay, and so I would entertain a motion to approve the remainder of the consent agenda that has not been asked to be
So moved.
moved.
You need to hold on while I finish pulling out the ones that
Oh,
you just pulled.
okay.
Otherwise, the vote will be off, okay?
Can you put on that beat the clock theme?
I can beat the clock, but this board docs can't. 1, 2, 13. Okay. Now, back to 3.2, approval of the consent agenda.
Right, okay, it was moved by Trustee Zia. Was there a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Archuleta. Please call the roll unless there's discussion.
Irma Archuleta?
Aye.
Virginia Baxter?
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg? Aye. Doug Otto?
Aye.
And Sunny Zia?
Aye.
Here's unanimously. So let's take up 3.10. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Zia, second? Second by Trustee Archuleta. Any discussion? Then let's vote. Please call the roll.
Questions? Ginny, didn't you have questions?
No, I don't have a question.
No,
I'm going to abstain on the vote.
It will
Okay.
reveal itself.
Irma Archuleta?
Aye.
Virginia Baxter?
Abstain.
Jeff Kellogg? Doug Otto?
Aye.
And Sunny Zia?
Aye.
Great. 3.4, I would give you a chance, Jackie, are you there? I would entertain a motion to approve 3.4, and is there such a motion? Moved by Trustee.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Archuleta, moved by Trustee Kellogg. Discussion.
Yes, thank you, President Otto. So I have a few questions, and then I understand we were going back and forth with the board, and since it's less than 72 hours, I want to first understand and see if we have copies for the members of the public. Do we have copies? Okay, so where are the copies? Are they placed out there? Okay, can we place it for the public then? Just so we're compliant with the Brown Act. So purchase order 75483 on page 1. This is with Keenan and Associates. What's the total value in term of this contract? And is this something that can be competitively procured, or is this some sort of a indefinite agreement that we have with Keenan? If someone can respond to that, I'd appreciate it.
Is that directed to
I'll take it.
Anne Marie?
There isn't a total value with the contract. Keenan and Associates is our third-party administrator for 2 of our joint powers authorities. So we participate in 2 different JPAs, PIPS, which is our workers' compensation JPA, and SWAC, which is the JPA related to our property and liability claims. Both of these JPAs are administered by Keenan and Associates, and Keenan and Associates is selected by the JPA organizations to be the third-party administrator. So what we are obligated to do is to put money into a trust account under Keenan and Associates organization to pay our member retained limits on our property and liability claims, and then also to pay any medical bills or attorney fees that may come up with workers' compensation, and any attorney fees that may come up that aren't covered with our property and liability claims. So what this purchase order is doing is establishing funds that are going into our property and liability trust account so that funds will be there in order to pay off the claims as they come about.
Okay, and is a term, since it's an open PO, is this an evergreen procurement, or will there be an opportunity for other firms to have the opportunity to work on this type of service with us, or is it just we're pretty much in agreement and we have to stick with them?
Trustees, yeah, this is not a service. We are putting money into a trust fund. The trust fund pays for our claims, so all Keenan and Associate does is administer the trust fund. But we're not paying them for this. This is money, our money, that we put into a trust to pay the claims that are charged against the district, whether it be for property liability or, in the case of PIPs, workers' compensation.
So they don't charge us anything? Is that what I'm...
Well, that's a separate charge. We participate in a joint powers authority. A joint powers authority is a group of community college districts throughout the state that come together to pool their resources. And so we have, in participating with the joint powers authority, we give authority to the JPA to select an administrator. So the JPA selected Keenan and Associates, so the JPA pays Keenan and Associates. We set up the trust fund to pay our claims out of. So that's what this is all about. Thank you. So page 7 of the purchase orders, there's 2 purchase orders, 75623 and 75625, train. So are we, the way I'm reading this is that we're directly procuring these services for the bond that's coming out of the bond funds. And are we getting a better value versus having the contractor procure these services? And were they the lowest bidder?
Actually, these are not coming out of the bond fund. They're coming out of Fund 01, which is our unrestricted general fund. These are the maintenance service agreements on our chillers. So we are required to have our chillers maintained and serviced both quarterly and annually to make sure that they're running in good condition. Also, if the chillers break down, then this company comes out and fixes them. The reason that we go with Trane is because the equipment is manufactured by Trane, so they have the expertise and the experience with their equipment. And we have to have a Trane certified maintenance mechanic come in and do our quarterly and annual services on all of our chillers.
Okay, so it's a matter of compatibility, and they're the only ones that know their system.
Correct.
Much. Okay. Okay, so purchase, page 8, purchase order 75630 on Clean Sweep. I'm sorry, not that one.
That is Clean Sweep.
Yeah, Clean Sweep. Did we receive multiple bids for this? And then were they the lowest bidder? And why is this service being contracted out versus our own employees providing the service?
We contract out the service because we don't have the equipment to clean the parking lots. This is the sweeper vehicle that comes through and cleans the parking lots after big events over the weekends. And no, we did not receive multiple bids. This falls under the bidding limit of $86,000, so we're not required to go out to bid. We did get a quote from the vendor. The hourly rates were consistent with what had been paid in the past. They also have provided excellent service in the past, and so it was the recommendation of the parking services manager to continue our relationship with this vendor.
Okay, so they were the only firm that we asked for a quote then. So in other words, they were a sole source contract. Or did we obtain other quotes?
We did not obtain other quotes. Technically, it's not sole source. There's a very definitive definition for what is sole source, and that requires a board action to identify something as sole source. So we steer away from saying that something is sole sourced. But this is something that, since it was not required by public contract code to go out for bids or RFPs, it is a selection that was made by the manager and a recommendation that is being made.
Okay, well then let me rephrase that. So it wasn't competitively procured. Item 3.11, I understand this is on the, I'm sorry, I moved on from 3.4. Doug, should we vote on this item and then I can ask questions? Sorry about that.
Hold on, I'm losing things. So we're on 3.4. Did we make a motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Any further questions? Then I would ask that the roll be called on 3.4.
Irma Archuleta.
Aye.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg. Aye. Doug Otto.
Aye.
And Sunny Zia.
Aye.
Then we'll move on to item 3.11. Just give me a little bit of time to find 3.11. I have now found 3.11. I would entertain a motion to approve item 3.11, which is the ratification of contracts under $175,000.
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Archuleta. Is there a second? Second by Trustee Kellogg. Discussion.
Yes, page 2, there is an amendment for legislative lobbying. This is contract number CN 99716.2 with Linda Lingle. What I'd like to understand is if there will be a report given to the board on a status update of this effort on the legislative lobbying that we are getting.
I think this is the extension of a contract at this point. It's not a new contract, but just to be clear.
Yes.
So, and how long does it extend? Does it extend for? No, 3 months.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, and by the way, Board President Otto, I was going to speak to the America's College Promise under my report, which is the primary activities going on right now. So if happy to talk about it now, or can wait till I do my report later on.
Do you want to do it both now and later
No,
as well? Okay.
I do not.
Then you do it now.
Okay. Well, since the item is up, on September 9th, we're expecting the president, not this president, the big president, to announce a new campaign called the College Promise Campaign. And we're very happy to be asked by the White House to participate in launching this effort. Linda Lingle has been working directly with the White House staff as well as former Undersecretary Martha Cantor on our behalf to support legislation that was introduced in the Senate by Senator Tammy Baldwin and in the House by member Bobby Scott, and in support of the America's College Promise. College Promise legislation would create a situation where community colleges, states are funded at states who wish to participate. We expect California to participate if this is signed into law. The federal government would pay the states the average of the tuition, community college tuition cost in the nation. We, of course, are lower than the average tuition in the nation, so we would be a net beneficiary. But essentially what it would do, it would pay the costs for all community college students who are pursuing a certificate, degree, or transfer and who are making satisfactory academic progress. So that is the effort that Linda is working on currently. There is obviously challenges with passing any legislation right now in Congress. Nonetheless, the September 9th event will highlight a College Promise campaign that will target 11 states in the nation, California being one of them. And so we are going to continue to work on this while Congress deals with this piece of legislation or not, and try to continue to work within the state to promote a no or low cost pathway for students in our community colleges to a certificate, degree, or to transfer. So that's what we're working on.
Further questions or?
I have further questions. Sure. Thank you. The other contract that I had a question about is on page 2, and it's 99723.9 on Alkind, if I'm pronouncing that right, group, and how they were selected. Were they competitively selected, or was it just based on this?
So give me the number again, the contract number.
It's CN 99723.9. It's the third to the last item on page 2.
Yeah, so the Alkind Group was the entity that went to the Lead Academy over their weekend workshop, and this was the presenter that facilitated the Berkman method training that they underwent. This person was a certified Berkman method instructor, so they were selected based upon their qualifications and experience, as well as we felt that it met the presentation style of what we were looking for our Lead Academy.
And my recollection is that they were picked not because what we wanted was active participation and a certain process for the Lead Academy participants to go through so that the experience could be more rich and measurable in the end. Is that fair?
Is the person the only person qualified to do this that we selected, or did we interview others and to select this individual?
The person was recommended by the Berkman folks as being a certified Berkman instructor, and so that was also based upon experience that some of our staff have had with this presenter in the past. They felt that the qualifications and experience met what we were looking for.
So we didn't interview others.
I could also add to that, Trustee Zia. What you look for when you're doing a program such as the LEAD Academy is presenters who can be dynamic. And this individual came to us initially being recommended by Berkman and Associates as a certified Berkman Method trainer. Her presentation style is very dynamic, which is the type of energy you're looking for with these types of presentations, particularly because we had an all-day presentation with her. So the purpose of selecting her was in relation to her presentation style, which we knew would be very effective.